The United Kingdom has a problem that dwarfs its rapidly increasing energy prices, unaffordable housing, and even its infamous weather. A problem that, despite popular belief, has existed for centuries. A problem that is colloquially known as racism. Earlier this year, Britain erupted into protest, bearing flags with eloquent slogans such as "Clear them out" and "Deport every illegal." London streets were rife with an angry, determined mob. As these displays continued, clashes with police became increasingly common. In multiple incidents, protesters threw rocks or fireworks, and officers in riot gear responded. By late 2025, at least 185 arrests had been made, and dozens of police officers had been injured. Despite the carnage, however, these demonstrations were not a fluke. Neither were they a chance occurrence. They are the product of a long, detailed history of nationalist and anti-immigrant sentiments, one that many Brits are afraid to admit. Most view the dissolution of the Nazi regime and the conclusion of World War II as the beginning of the end for imperialistic British colonialism. The guarantee of Indian independence in 1947 and the subsequent decolonization in the 50s and 60s, British overseas occupation had symbolically come to a close. However, not even a decade passed between these events before Conservative MP Enoch Powell gave his notorious Rivers of Blood speech in 1968, ominously warning that unchecked immigration would lead to communal violence. Not long after, Margaret Thatcher, or as she's sometimes known, the Iron Lady, tapped into similar public fears. With a 1978 interview, she's saying that people were afraid Britain might be rather swamped by people with a different culture. This rhetoric having propelled her into office in 1979, Thatcher soon became the people's hero through her ruthless reclamation of the Argentinian Falkland Islands. Notwithstanding the obvious imperialistic sentiments behind these attacks, conservative British newspapers spouted headlines such as "Kill all Aussies," "Stick it up your junta," and "Gotcha, our lads sick gunboat and whole cruiser," touting the invasion as a British victory. By the 1990s and 2000s, debates over immigration and national identity continued. Successive governments imposed tighter immigration controls, and tabloids ran sensational stories about asylum cheats and bogus refugees. Far-right political parties like the British National Party gained brief notoriety, but it was the UKIP, or the UK Independence Party, and the Nigel Farage that truly broke into the mainstream. Farage harnessed public unease over immigration, especially after the large influx of Eastern European migrants in the 2000s, and tied it to a call for Britain to leave the European Union. This culminated in the 2016 Brexit referendum, a turning point driven in large part by nationalism and fears about immigration. Indeed, the pro-Brexit campaign relentlessly focused on taking back control of borders, portraying foreigners in the EU as threats to British identity. Unfortunately, Brexit's aftermath saw nationalist politics further enter the mainstream. Farage rebranded his Brexit party into the Reform UK Party after Britain formally left the EU, aiming to carry the Brexit spirit forward. Reform UK positioned itself as an anti-establishment, hard-line, anti-immigration party. Its platform has included vows to freeze new immigration, tax companies that hire foreign workers, and even pull Britain out of human rights treaties seen as impediments to deportation. Voters' frustration with rapidly increasing migrant numbers despite Brexit fueled support for Farage's party, and Reform UK continues to rapidly gain ground as a populist alternative. But how has a problem that's largely lain dormant for so many years erupted so quickly and so explosively? Much of the answer, unfortunately, lies within social media, and its irritating tendency to be both omnipresent and consistently misinforming. Social media platforms and encrypted messaging apps like WhatsApp and Telegram have made it incredibly easy for anti-migration movements to fester. Telegram in particular has become a safe space for extremists to coordinate activity and instigate violence, according to the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, and in mid-2024, Britain was rocked by riots after the tragic stabbing of 3 young girls at a public event. False rumors raced across Facebook and Twitter, blaming the attack on a radical Islamist asylum seeker, even though the perpetrator was not an immigrant. All this, combined with the efforts of disgraced former English Defence League leader Tommy Robinson, has led to one of the largest far-right mobilizations of all time in the British Isles. Over 110,000 individuals actively participated in the ironically named Unite the United Kingdom rally, sending a clear statement, for better or for worse, to migrant families in the country. Many of these families have a transnational identity, for example, a British Pakistani or British Polish identity, and they now face a society where displays of multiculturalism are sometimes denigrated as unpatriotic. With local authorities spending millions on extra policing and counter movements united under banners of no room for racism,
England and the greater UK area has quickly become one of the most polarizing and disunited countries in the world, right next to its English-speaking counterpart, the United States. In fact, the 2025 British anti-migration movement, while rooted in local issues, is also part of a larger global pattern that both influences and is influenced by that broader trend. Farage's close ties with the American MAGA movement and European far-right figures are a clear example of that. So amidst disturbing instances of hate crimes accompanying the protests, with mosques vandalized, verbal abuse on the streets, and even physical attacks on individuals perceived to be migrants, it's hard to imagine a future in which this country, my country, can ever hope to heal. However, despite this doom and gloom, there's also been a backlash to the backlash. As I mentioned earlier, civil society and human rights groups in Britain have organized counter-protests and campaigns promoting tolerance. Moderate voters, while concerned about immigration, also expressed discomfort with the extreme language and vigilantism seen in 2025. Britain's business community and public service area too have quietly voiced their own concerns, suggesting that the nationalist surge, while powerful, will not go unchecked by other forces in society.
So, the verdict? It's hard to say.
One can be sure, however, that the Farage-led Reform Party and its opponents aren't going anywhere.
As we celebrate difference and oppose racism.
In an increasingly split greater global ecosystem, it's all we can do to continue treating crucial issues like these, which clearly aren't unique to the UK, with empathy and stand up for those who cannot stand up for themselves. Because it's just as the little-known activist Martin Luther King Jr. said nearly a century ago.
Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Above us, only sky.